Your kind introduction. Good morning, everybody. Subodhasana Keva. Today, I will be presenting novel concepts. I think this should be novel concepts and kind of a out-of-the-box thinking process in procuring information systems which can carry secured systems for sustainable computing and protect the information asset. So this is basically a kind of a based on some conceptual framework. So we call it a secure by design. Strategies in public sector IT procurement process, procurement officers. So let's start our discussion. Basically, I have a presentation outline here. I will not go through the entire thing, but key topics: digital trust and secure by design. We need to have, you all are being all government officers, you need to understand where we are and right now in terms of digitalization, transformation is the government initiative. I'll take you to the big picture. Rather than just procuring something, we need to understand the big picture. Then you can have a better thinking process in developing procurement process, so RFP, whatever. Okay. Then the current procurement challenges in the government sector. Then we'll take you through secure by design concept. This is very important to understand because procurement officers will be acting as a trust anchor or gatekeepers. Okay, so you're all going to be very critical in developing secure digital nation or the secure digital ecosystem in this country. And then government procurement transformation. Current, you have some procurement rules, and I will be discussing some strategies for procurement staff. Okay. Then the global lessons and best practices. We need to benchmark ourselves, what's happening around us, and take some lessons out of them. Finally, I'll take you through very interesting practical framework so that you can really apply what we are going to learn today. Okay. So remove this board. This one. Right. At the end of the day, end of the presentation, outcome or learning objectives. At the end of this session, understand the importance of digital trust. Okay, we are all in the ecosystem of earning digital trust for the customer. Okay, so and then recognize risks and the threats that undermine digital trust. Cyber security is full of threats, so you need to understand. Okay, identify weaknesses in the current procurement practices. We need to understand current challenges of the procurement practice in Sri Lanka. Okay, explain the concept and principle of secure by design. This is very important to understand. You will have better understanding what I'm trying to discuss on the secure by design concept. Sorry. Explore strategies to integrate security across the procurement lifecycle. Security, cyber security is not the one-time effort. It is the life cycle process in your procurement. Though we touch the procurement in the once, but it has cyber security as a life cycle process. So we need to take care of, when you procure systems, we have to address the life cycle of site security through the procurement process. All right. And then examining global lessons and case studies, evaluate the proposed secure by procurement model and roadmaps. I'm going to propose a secure by procurement process. Okay, as a model with the practical models. So these at the end of the day, we will be achieving these learning goals, right? I used to say always, when we have to something to be achieved in long-term goals, okay? So I used to quote this the quotation: Rome was not built in a day. Now, this is a long journey. If you want to pursue certain tasks in long term, we need to take considerable efforts. So the digital trust, the secure by design is the foundational requirement of a digital trust. Okay, so let's see what type of efforts that we need to put through. Let's have a understand big picture. What is big picture? Digital trust can be considered critical goal and foundational of digital transformation. Now we know this government is in the process of aggressively pushing through digital transformations. So the foundational critical goals of achieving successful digital transformation is the digital trust. Okay, rather than a single end goal, because it ensures success and adoption of digital initiative by building confidence among the stakeholders. What does that mean? Whatever you do as a procurement officers in information systems or whatever the procurement process, digital assessed, we should focus what are we trying to achieve. We need to achieve the public confidence. Right? We can inbuild those dimension into the technology or evaluation process. This criteria, I'll be discussing this criteria based on the World Economic Forum framework. Okay. Without trust, digital transformation project risk failing due to lack of user adoptions, reputational damage, and negative financial repercussions. This is a problem. If you procure low quality product, so that will end up with the not only financial loss, that will erode the public trust. That's what most of the government organization. I am new to the government service, but my short experience, I understand this area there are a lot of things to be done to improve the quality of IT services and in terms of securing the digital technology. Building digital trust, accelerate innovation. Again, this industry is very, very innovative. There are a lot of innovations and the like say AI, blockchain, these technology will bring a lot of risks as well. So unless the consumer or public trust those technologies, we will not be able to sell that. So we need to earn trust of the public, including you. You will ask the question, why should I divulge my personal information to get these services? You have a second thought. Okay, so that is what we are trying to understand the big picture. Trust at the heart of the Sri Lankan digital future. Trust. Now, you have seen this diagram. We call it a digital economy blueprint. I borrowed it from Dr. Hans. He is a visionary leader of digital transformation journey in this country. And you can see at the bottom, it is you can see digital trust and the governance, right? It is in the framework applicable to across the board. Digital trust and the governance. Now you can see how important these two words, digital trust and the governance, right? So I in fact thought of developing digital trust and governance framework uh, on top of this. On top of this, the digital economic blueprints. So you will be the one of the core pillar in procuring secure by design technology in support of this journey. Okay. Right. Digital trust is the broader outcome of those security efforts combined with the transparency and ethical practices, assuring user that their information and interaction are safe. Interaction, basically transactions, are safe and reliable with the digital world. That's what consumer want. No, but general public wants. It is the next wave of cybersecurity. You know, cybersecurity is failing. You know, every other day there's some attack, data breach in this country. Not only public sector, even private sector. Public sector is much more because there's that problem of accountability. Okay. No, cybersecurity is basically couldn't address this trust issue. Cybersecurity is one of the dimensions of the digital trust. Okay. Therefore, we need to understand what are the other attributes that we should consider in evaluating procurements. Secure by design is the foundational approach for achieving digital trust. Secure by design. Now, secure by design, procurement is one of the foundational requirements of secure by design, because you are the gatekeepers. Okay. Now, this needs thinking of outside, basically out of the box. We have a bigger picture. Okay. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Digital trust in the intelligent age. You will always question, should I divulge my personal information just because the government gives this information to me, services to me? Even, you know, all over the world, trust on the governments are declining. That's the global trends. Okay. Now, when the government start giving digital services, so it is going to be biggest challenge how to earn the public trust to use these services. You know, this Data Protection Act, your personal information is not belong to the government. Government is government is the, we call it a custodian. Custodian and no right to use this resource. Public data is belong to individuals. So you have a very big power right about your personal data. So there has to be a sound base of earning digital trust in the digital world. Especially, it's the big challenge for the governments. Okay. You know, because of this challenge, World Economic Forum came out with a better framework that is earning digital trust in the public sector. Okay. And it has 8 dimensions. Say cybersecurity, privacy, transparency, reliability, redressability, okay, auditability, fairness, interoperability, safety. Now, these are the 8 dimensions. Now, you can see cybersecurity is only one dimension, right? Cybersecurity. So, cybersecurity is gone. So, I said next wave of cybersecurity is the digital trust. Now, in trust framework, there are two perspectives: mechanical trust and the societal trust. Mechanical trust is easy to earn. If basically technology will give you some level of trust. Technology, right? Technology can trusted technology, but that is not enough. There is something called societal trust, like say for example, ethics, fairness, accountability. These are societal trust. If you want to earn digital trust, these two perspectives of trust need to be earned. This is trust. Earning trust is not something that you can push on top. It has to be earned collaboratively. Okay, so procurement officers will have to be a key collaborator in earning digital trust at the end of the day. Government sides. Okay, every single now because of this larger spectrum of dimension, 8 dimension, very large. Every single decisions of public sector officers will have an implication of digital trust in future, because the dimension is very, very broad. Okay, right now, simply World Economic Forum has given some definitions. This is for public sector trust, earning trust. Okay, at the end of the day, trust is it encompasses the confidence individuals have in the security and reliability of digital environment, including responsible handling of personal data and transparent operations. It is the basically confidence in the digital world, confidence. So broad definitions, but simply it is how to earn confidence. Earning confidence to somebody is very difficult, right? Very difficult. There's a because it involves several number of dimensions. Some are technical, some are societal. The role of digital trust in achieving. Now, what is the role of digital trust for achieving this transformation, digital transformation? It's a prerequisite, not the byproduct. Prerequisite. That's what I said in this the digital blueprints. It's a prerequisite for you to have a successful digital transformations. No point of offering these services unless there's a process in place to earn the trust for the people. Okay, it drives the transformation. The pursuit of digital trust itself can drive digital transformation by forcing the organization to improve security, transparency, reliability, and their digital offerings. Foundation for future success. That's why I say, if you want to use, this digital technology is evolving. So unless we have a process in to earn digital trust of consumer or a public, so we will not be able to introduce innovative technology. Okay, kind of a AI. Very AI is risky technology. Okay, there's a last week there's a 3-day seminar workshop organized by SLT and Ministry of Digital Economy. There are a lot of challenges of AI transformation. So, if unless we have some understanding, say you are procuring a AI solutions, you may have to. You have some right questions. You have to get some right condition in your RFP. That's what we are trying to learn today. Okay. I strongly believe procurement officers should be gatekeepers or should be a trust anchor, so that you can raise the right questions. Even the government department or ministry sends you a request to evaluate. You should have a knowledge to competence to raise the question and get the right answer. Okay. I hope this discussion will be useful for you, therefore. Right. Sorry about this. Right. There's some fact. I did a lot of it. I forget to remove that. Why digital trust is crucial for digital transformation? It is, I said, stakeholder confidence. Number one, enhance security and privacy. I said Security here is the cyber security. It's part of protecting confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay. Privacy is, I said, everybody has the right to their own privacy. Every organization should have to have a privacy compliance policies. Privacy compliance technology. We call it privacy by design. Okay. When a procurement come to you, you need to raise the question: does this technology inbuild privacy by design requirements? Okay. Sustainable growth and innovation, risk mitigations. Digital trust help organization to avoid security of financials, because if the customers use only, we will realize the ROI. Otherwise, digital trust is one of the biggest risks. Okay, bigger risk. We need to earn trust. Competitive advantage, basically building reputation for digital trustworthiness can be key differentiator in the market. Drive transformations, I discussed this, foundation for future success. That's why we need to earn digital trust. Right, now, problem of cybersecurity. Okay. Threat to digital trust or problem of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, basically all systems that handle sensitive data are attractive target for cyber attack. Breaches can cause severe damages. We are experiencing this day by day, because cybersecurity has been passed on to the basically we call it a organization. For example, Sri Lankan government institution by the vendor. He will sell the product. We need to take care of the baby entire thing. That is wrong. That is not so. Okay, we will be learning, shift the balance. We need to put the cybersecurity responsibility to the vendor, to the contact. Yes, the vendor has the responsibility to maintain the cybersecurity of their products throughout the life cycle. You should get that condition. There's a global best practice. We'll be learning that. Okay. Release of low quality software. This is what I'm saying. Okay. All these cyber attack, what is the reason? Low quality product. Right? Local software. So lack of accountability in the public sector. Public sector, of course, this is an inherent issue. Government cloud outage, ransomware attack on state agencies. These are very common, right? We have some bad experience in the government email account in the cloud. Around 5,000 account would crash. These are very, eroding public trust on the government. Okay. Increasing risk to the digital trust, increasing sophisticated cyber attack, threat, data breaches, privacy violation, complex regulatory environment, the rapid rates of technology changes, supply chain vulnerabilities, emerging technology like AI. All these are problems. Smart technology is good, but every smart technology carry additional risks. Understand? So I'm not saying don't be positive. We need to be positive always, but think there is some risk involved in these new technologies. Okay. Supply chain, one of the biggest source of the vulnerability. Supply chain. Recently, there was a simple attack in the airport. It's a supply chain attack. Okay. So, however, many risks can be reduced if security is built into systems, design and operation from the start. Supervised design. Okay. These are some instances. I'm not going to discuss this, but some key failure of cybersecurity in government. pension department, and government cloud 5,000 email accounts, and Mudrana, what you call printing departments, and there's some waterboard SMS portal attack. These are very common things, right? So we can expect some more attack in future. More attack in future when you go for aggressive digital transformation, the government systems, you can expect more attacks. Okay. This is a price sector. This is Kagis Bank attack, one of the major data breach. It was published in the personal data was published in the dark web. I have seen Mr. Udesh also very worried about these kind of distribution issues, distribute to the government. Okay, people just put some information, even if the information available in the website, they push that in the dark web to get credit and distribute the government, disturb the government and discredit the government. Okay, so it can be not necessarily to be a real database, but just to distribute the government, people can do that. But we can expect more and more databases and in future. So that's what I'm saying. You as a gatekeeper, you need to write the right question and get the right condition in the RFP. If the department and ministries don't incorporate those conditions, I'm sharing with you some model clauses. You can discuss with them and question. Okay. I said, I'll skip this slide. Trust, digital trust need to be earned in collaboration. We call it value co-creations. Now, for example, there are so much of stakeholders. It can be basically regulators, it can be a general public, it can be basically societal, common societal stakeholders and academia. All these people has to get together and co-create this value. I said it is a value co-creation process of earning digital trust. Now, this is also, my lecture is also basically a collaboration of earning digital trust. Okay, so that's how government has to initiate collaborative framework. We call it a digital trust forum. Okay, so to co-create this value, digital trust. A stakeholder can be diverse. Co-creation needs collaboration. You need to collaborate. Government procurement officers are one of the stakeholders of this collaboration. Okay, each contribute to benefit from the shared trust ecosystem, including government procurement officers. Okay, now the collaboration basically help innovation. New innovation, building resiliency, build efficiency, smooth transaction and reduction compliance frictions, user empowerment. Right? People start trusting. Transparency of public sector initiative is very important. Why? People engage when they start trusting only, believing. Okay? That's foundation requirement of collaboration. Okay, that's what earning digital trust of private sector organization is different from the public sector organization. Okay. Right. Having said that, let me take you through secure by design concept. You all need to understand this very well. Okay. Secure by design concepts is the business level goals. It's not the technical goal. It's not cybersecurity. Okay. It's a strategic business objectives essential to earn trust, reputation, and resilience. design, secure by design. Basically, you need to inbuild the security requirement and concern into the design, architecture, and basically design and the development process, we call it. Okay, it's the business goals, not some technical goals. Okay, then stated before design kickoff must be defined at the very beginning of the project requirement and procurement. So go by design. You need to embed stakeholder requirement condition into the procurement document. To my understanding, there's no such a procurement guideline of a country. I know there are so much of guidelines, procurement process, but this area is still to be addressed. I believe Mr. Udesh will take some interest to introduce some secure by design guideline for procurement officers. Number 3, require real trade-off. What is this? Technology selection of procuring process just not based on just by the lowest bids. Okay, we need to have a trade-off in between security requirement and the function trade-off. I have seen a couple of places where we will ultimately offer the bid to the lowest bidder. I don't know if I'm wrong, you can challenge me. But if that is the case, but then we will not be able to achieve this goal. Okay, can't be added later. Security isn't a bolt-on. We need to build in. You can't put that anywhere. You can't nail it later. You are a key players in inbuilt this into the procurement process. Right. These are the core concept of secure by design principles. Okay. Functional design. I said it will be inbuilt in the functional design. Security as a default. By default, security should be inbuilt, right? Secure by default. Security as a default conditions. Basically, when you configure a system, default settings should inbuild the we call it configurations. Secure by configuration settings should be the basically comply with the basic baseline security configurations, and then built in, not bolted on, built in. SDLC, you know, agile development or SDLC, built in. Then shift from traditional procurement. I have slide on this. How you think of out of the box in building security in the procurement system. I'll come to that slide. Okay. POC by design. POC by design is also part of the secure by design. Every technology that you procure, say, should have POC by design inbuilt. Basically, all the 8 right of the individual data subjects, they should, wherever possible, inbuilt to the design in future. Now, maybe middle of the next year, before that, this POC regulation will be enforced. Are we ready to take that challenge? I think you can start it now. I don't know whether any procurement officer raised this requirement in the RFP. Anyone? Anyone raised that question? I believe all of you are procurement officers. Some Any procurement officers? No procurement officers. Anybody? All the IT service staff. Huh? IT service. Any procurement officers? Okay. Right. Design secured by procurement. Designed by used by design, secured by procurement. Okay. Basically, get the right condition with RFP. Then the second, access and trust. Access and trust. This also we need to think of in procurement systems. Zero trust and least privileges and resilience. Zero trust is basically, one of the major foundational requirement of authorizing and authenticating users. We don't trust anybody coming internet, right? Everyone has to be authenticated each and every time. There's no, what to call trust inbuilt there. No. Okay. Each and everyone, irrespective of the employees or a customer, no trust at all. Each and every request should be re-authenticated. So that's one of the key requirement of the digital transformation project in Sri Lanka. Okay. And the least privileges and the resilience, give them a least privileges, not more than what they require. Resilience basically, before you build in, basically you need to put the failure to resist. That's the requirement. Failure to resist. Resist to failure. Okay. Then the life cycle operation. Security requirement is the life cycle. Okay. You maybe touch that in maybe once in the RFP, but security gives rise to a life cycle approach. Cybersecurity life cycle, from planning to decommissioning of systems. Throughout the life cycle, that has to be either to manage, either to supplier or to the respective organization collaboratively. And configuration and patch management. This is one of the key area. Configuration and patch management is life cycle. Throughout the life cycle, you have to attain. Weak configuration is one of the major risks. Okay. Patch management. Patch management is essential life cycle issue. Basically, it is basically responsibility of the vendor. So we need to get the right condition with the agreement. These things are basically, challenging things. And then continuous monitoring and improvements. Security is not static. You need to, so for example, you need to either to provide security operations center like SIME technology, you have to monitor cyber security. Either vendor has to support it or organization has to think of. Okay. Now in future, when you procure technology, you need to ask a question. RFP, we need you to help us to get connected this system to our cybersecurity center, operating center. That's the vendor responsibility. Without any charge is the essential requirement of the government. Okay. So monitoring of cybersecurity. Incident response, incident preparedness recovery. Incident response, preparedness recovery, vendor also having responsibility. It's not only the customer, not only the government organization. So incident response is essential part of cybersecurity for digital trust. Okay. Then the assurance and oversight. This is kind of an administrative part of. Okay. Defense in depth. What is that? layered. This is for common for military. Basically, if one layer fail, other layer should be pop up and defense. Layers defense. Then vendor transparency and accountability. Vendor transparency and vendor should be, their process should be transparent. Okay. They should be accountable for security because they are the one who decide it. Okay. Cyber security, they should be accountable for inbuilt security in the system. And then secure supply chain. Supply chain, I said, going to be one of the biggest threat. You need to get some condition of how to manage supply chain risk in the RFP. Accountability and auditability. You know that this could be traceability and auditability is essential. The last, the development and testing, system development and testing. Threat modeling and risk management. Systems are exposed to evolving threats. Okay, so vendors should support for us to basically understand the threats to their systems. Okay, and then threat modeling and risk assessment. These systems should be subject to risk assessment. Okay. Secure coding practices. Secure coding practices should be demonstrated by the vendor. If you are developing in-house, of course, that's our baby. But most of the government, I don't think government start developing systems. But these are the part of the vendor should commit to give us the secure coding practices. Okay. And security testing and validation. You need to ask for a separate testing for security. There's ISO 27001 standards. It enforces there should be separate testing for security in addition to the functionality testing. So you should ask this. Okay. Maybe that's what I'm saying. All procurement officers or IT service officers need to understand these concepts and enforce them wherever you can, influence to build the security posture of this public sector. And then human-centric design, usability and security, human-centric. Because whatever we do, we should be focused on human-centric design, right? Basically, with the few steps, we should be able to get the tasks done. Okay, not to confuse the customer. Yeah. I'll show you. This what I'm discussing now. We can put them into a checklist. Through the checklist, you can assess the risk either high, medium, low, whatever, and that can be embedded into RFP condition. No one can say if you understand these risks to me, you have the right to get the RFP condition. There's no rule on this. There's no law. Understand? It is a risk management tool. What do you mean? Decommissioning. Decommissioning is happening at the end of the life cycle, right? Okay. There's a process of decommissioning. How do you securely decommission? You need to get the condition when there should be what you call termination clause. Understand? I have seen some of the companies, government organizations, they don't have termination clause. Going to be a vendor going to be, trying to dictate terms to you. Okay, that should not happen. You need to get that's what I'm saying. You need to very carefully take care of this risk. Okay, You all are gatekeepers to understand the risk and get the right conditions are at place. Okay.
Termination clause.
Contract termination clause, and thereby you have to write the process and the secure what do you call it disposal, secure disposal. You know, now having thought of this go by design concepts, they are really practical concept, right? Now, I thought of basically inbuilt this go by design concept to the digital transformation blueprint. Okay, so here how we frame it, a national digital trust framework blueprint. There are 5 pillars here. Inclusion is basically everyone should be able to get the secure services, digitally trusted services. Inclusion, everybody. Then you can see inclusion. Next, digital ecosystem. All these blue areas, okay, not the dark blue, light blue. There are 4 digital ecosystems: digital public infrastructure, digital services, and smart infrastructure. These are the infrastructures where this blueprint introduced technologies for Sri Lanka in digital transformation. This area we need to build secure by design, basically strategies to protect secure by design. Okay, and third is basically digital trust and governance. That is where we are, including you, procurement officers. So we have to think of securities and resilience, privacy and data protection, reliability and the service continuity, transparency and basically explainability, and ethical AI and emerging technology, and fourth, governance, basically institutional governance, like say Sri Lanka CERT, Cybersecurity Authority, yet to come. We believe we will be able to regulate certain cybersecurity requirements in Sri Lanka when this authority forms. Okay, and the secure by design condition. Basically, we can formalize to the cybersecurity authority when this comes. Even before that, I think finance department can do a draft as a guideline. Because finance department is the one who take the financial risk at the end of the day. They have the authority to draft these guidelines and circulate and train the people. Okay, that's what I believe. We are playing our role in the dark blue, right? And surrounding to that, we have policy and legislation and institution. This is the digital trust framework blueprint built on top of the digital transformation blueprint of the government. Okay. Now this is not the end. Okay. This is, we call it a digital trust by secure by design. If we can do this, understand? If we can do this, we'll be the winners. But remember, this is not the one-time event. This is the journey. Right? But it's never ending journey. That's how the life is also. Okay. Let's do this together. Secure by design in Sri Lankan context. We have this cybersecurity bill forthcoming. I think that discussion is going on. We will be regulating cybersecurity requirement, including secure by design conditions. Respective framework will be enforced to the cybersecurity bill through the certificate authority that's going to be formed. Okay. Then the data privacy requirement. Data privacy requirement, privacy act is also already passed, but that is not enforced. Maybe before middle of the next year, that will enforce. You know, data privacy is one of the biggest challenge for security. Data Protection Act, right? So, but in terms of trust, individual want this. You and me need this. People, those who are doing business or a government don't like this. Why? Government can't do what they like. But unfortunately, this is a world best practice. It's a human right of privacy is the human right endorsed by the UN. Okay.
But it misleads from the RTI. actually.
Oh, that's some. Yeah. So these things need to be, every country like that. Democratic is like that. Democratic countries. There are a lot of, we cannot, though people have full right on their data, but government has to govern also. No? Understand? This is the debate. This debate is everywhere, not in Sri Lanka. Okay. Right. Then digital ecosystem blueprint. I just discussed this blueprint, digital public infrastructure, including finance department. One of the key pillar, CII we call it, and SLUDI, unique digital ID. These systems are basically has to come out with the secure by design technologies and the processes. Okay, otherwise people won't believe. People don't trust. Then the procurement officers as the gatekeepers. If not procurement officers take this initiative, this journey will not be possible. Okay, you will be acting as a gatekeepers of earning digital trust and designing systems secure by design. There are a couple of best practice in the global best practice. United States, we call it CISA. CISA basically, let me check. CISA stands for Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, USA. Similarly that of Sri Lanka, CSRA, Cybersecurity Regulatory Authority, we call it. Okay, that's yet to come, I say. Cybersecurity Regulatory Authority. In US, this is the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. The CISA will be referring several times here because they have come out with the global best practice framework for us to basically protect information, govern the information security in US. Okay. They came out with the secure by design pledge. Okay, I've been discussing that. I have developed my framework based on that. NIST is one of the world best practice. Again in US, they came out with the several number of standards in developing secure by design standards. European Union also has some couple of standards, and the United Kingdom has their standards. NCCP procurement guidelines, USA, UK, and the international standard ISO. They also came out with a couple of standards. ISO 27000, ISO 27036. They are world best practice. And Asia Pacific, Singapore, GovTech model, the country that very close to us, they came out with the standard framework secure by design procurement system. Understand? So why not us? Why not us? I think this is a timed presentation because we are still in the near to mature. I mean, I just started the maturing. So everybody should take some interest on this to drive this process. Okay. Key lesson from Sri Lanka out of from the global practices: security requirements be mandated in procurement, not left option. It will be mandated. I think Mr. Udesh can think of this. Global standard provide benchmark for compliance, subject bill and data protection laws. That's what we are benchmarking our CSRA law. Adapt best practice to local context. Cost-effective, transparent, and enforceable procurement framework. Enforceable procurement framework secured by design, secured by procurement. Okay, I'll give you the condition. A model contract process. Changing role of government procurement. I'm not the procurement expert. I did some research because I have some interest of this digital trust and cybersecurity. I got this slide from some other sources. Rule of government procurement, basically, there are three roles: value for money, transparency, and open and fair competitions. If anything to be added, you can add it. Basically, these are the public sector rule of procurement. I came through some document, National Procurement Commission. They have published some procurement guidelines. And I have read the ICT agency guideline of, again, general bid, bid evaluations. Okay, none of these guidelines address information technology procuring specific requirements. To my understanding, information technology or information systems are also put into the same basket and evaluated. If any procurement officers are here, you can correct me if I am wrong. Procurement guidelines are very thorough, no question about it. But when you come to the building the bridge or a road, is different from the building a information systems and put that in operation and get the ROI. Entirely two different things. Am I right? So why not we should have a separate procurement process for the evaluating and procuring information systems? I think this is also eye-opener for those who are in the influential position. I heard the ICT agency, Dr. Hans is in the process of introducing separate procurement process for information technology, including cybersecurity. Okay, and I have said there's a myth of lowest quotation always wins. Is it true or not? I don't know. Lowest price, lowest bids. But I was told by my CEO when I asked, why don't you give the, I asked the question, don't you consider quality, security with the pricing? We were asked to give it to a lowest bidder. Lowest bidder. So I said there is some choice, right? In security and the functionality, right? So if that is the case, we need to think of how we can relook at this bid offering process. Should we always go for the lowest bidder? Lowest bidder. The security is one of the key enabler of digital trust or the customer confidence. There should be an objective way of evaluating these capabilities, the vendor, right? If the price is somewhat high, there should be decisions should be enabled to make that that should be the choice. Okay, it's to be decided through transparent process. Okay, government agencies should consider security, quality, reliability, and risk factors in addition to the cost. Right, suppliers should avoid undercutting prices and the expense of the essential criteria like service quality and delivery assurance, quality of service, delivery assurance. Technology can be ideal. There can be two companies selling same identical technology. What does it make difference? How to select? It is the quality of service. End of the day, it is the quality of service. Quality of service is the one make difference, not the product capability. That also should give additional evaluation. Understand? Not the lowest bidder. Right. This slide also will give you a role of government procurement in earning digital trust. Now, in addition to these three rules, I am giving you 10 rules now. If you want to think of a out of the box thinking, you know, think these 10 rules of requirements in procurement evaluation. I said open and fair competition. And all suppliers are treated equally and fairly. That's open and fair competition. That's, I know it's happening in the government sector. Okay, and the competitive environment motivates suppliers to provide their best proposal. Okay, then the transparency. Transparency is one of the essential things for the government. Procurement requirement procedures and evaluation criteria are openly published. It's there in the RFP condition. Value for money, I discussed this. Balance between the cost, quality, risk, timeline, and reliability. Basically, balance between the cost, always not the costs only. Okay, and I don't know whether people consider total cost of ownership. Total cost of ownership is one of the major requirement, evaluation criteria. Your licensing cost may be very transparent, but over a number of years, what should be my total cost of ownership? There are several number of additional costs involved. That also you need to work out that initially and compare it with other bidders. Sometimes these ministry and department, they will not come out with a transparent evaluation. You should be able to write the right question. Okay. Then the security by design. I discussed this condition. Security by design is basically ensure that the integrity and public trust through oversight. If something is secure by design, it's inbuilt trust there, right? Inbuilt trust. And then accountability and auditability. That you know, decisions and processes are documented and independent, auditable. Now, if the vendor says something, you should be able to ask, give me the document. He will say, okay, our systems are secured, we have qualified people. Then we have to ask, give me the proof. Don't believe these vendors. They are they try to put the bugs onto you, and then you can play with them there. That's what the vendor does. Okay. Inclusiveness and accessibility, open opportunities for basically this also basically inclusivity. Give everybody to equal opportunity to be selected. Compliant with the standard and regulation. This is very important thing. Basically, ISO standards, NIST standards, MOSIP standard. Basically, MOSIP is our SNUDI projects open standards. Vendors must comply with the National Security Data Protection Act, right? And maybe in future, our CSR laws. Okay. Then the ethics and responsible AI. Every technology will use AI agents in future. Then you have to have a couple of questions. Emerging AI, biometrics, blockchain. Ensure ethical use, and there's no bias reduction. Right? Then we have to ask the question: where does this AI model tested? Based on which data? Whether this basically AI is that AI is very they are very biased or decisions. We should be able to get some information. What is the process in place that AI will not make the biased decisions? Okay, if that happens, it's a violation of the privacy rights. Okay, sustainability and long-term viability. This is also one of the major risks in the public sector procurement. You buy product and try to halfway implement. Next 5 years time, there's no people, no process, nothing. Sustainability, one of the major requirements. When the procurement comes to you, you should ask the question: how we are going to sustain on this? Do you have the right resource, right people, right? And that's one of the major critical criteria that you should ask. And the vendor sometimes goes out of business. One of the major risks. And then citizen-centric outcome. Whatever we do, success measured by citizen trust, service quality. End of the day, see whether this particular technology is enabling earning trust of the public. Okay. So resilience also very important. The business continuity and disaster recovery planning of the particular service providers technology. Okay. These are entire basically very important for all those procurement officers. Current challenges in public sector procurement. I have seen this publication in the Daily Mirror, published by, I think, Verite Research. Sri Lanka annual loss due to government tender corruption amount to 1% of gross national product. This is published in 2025. Okay. I don't know. This is what public opinion. I believe this new government, they have closed all the gaps. This may be improved very soon, but this is the bad reputation. Bad reputation of the government, public, especially the earning trust. Okay, where there's corruption, people don't believe. Procurement process issues, especially lower cost bidding, undermine security. I said that has to be basically always is not be the case, right? If it is the case, there's a big problem of quality of security services. Long procurement life cycle, outdated technology. Long procurement life cycle. I know government is very. That's what I'm saying. There's a criticism. If you procure some technology that is that's urgently needed for digital transformation projects, it will take maybe 6 months or more than 6 months if you procure through the normal procurement procedure. So that is basically then the technology become outdated immediately, right? So that has also has been changed. This is one of the major challenge issues of the procurement process. I think that's what ICT agent working on to have a separate process for technology procurement. Vendor-related risk. Limited vendors accountability for vendors are they used to wash their hand off once the product is sold. Unless you get some condition in the RFP, vulnerability is the vendors accountable, their products. They should support us to manage the vulnerability. Okay, I don't think it's happening currently. Then the weak vendor security requirement. Vendors generally release locally products and subsequently send patches. Okay, so if they're trying to do that, then put the bolt to them again to the agreement. You need to monitor agreement condition very effective. Okay, then the security gap in the procurement. Not the warranty period, throughout the life cycle. There's no warranty period for security. What the warranty period? Warranty period is for functionality, just system whether you work as expected or not. Security life cycle issue. Okay. Then the lack of security gaps in the procurement. Lack of standardized security requirement in RFP. Basically, I share those model condition today, if you don't have one right now. Default configuration and limited assurance. Default configurations is basically is a secure. Vendor will give you the default configurations. We need to reset it. We need to reset and adapt the standard industry standard configurations. Secure by design. Default configuration is not secure enough. Default configuration come with the high-end back-end user accounts. Okay, and then lack of life cycle security management. Good example, my answer to the question. Then the governance and oversight weaknesses, inadequate monitoring and compliance checks. I mean, you may be knowing this better than me. There's often no independent verification or guarantee that the vendor configuration patch or control meet required security standards. There's no independent verification. In ISO 27001 security certification, there should be a separate testing for security in addition to the functional testing. So you need to make standards. All government information system that you have procured should be tested for information security separately. So vendor should support it, and you have to get this condition in the RFP. So functionality testing is basically anyway it should work now. However, the security, right? Functionality anybody can deal with, but security is the foundational requirement. Okay. Right, shifting the balance of cybersecurity. The goal is to move the burden of security from end user to the manufacturer. You don't know how to do this. All right, good. The goal is to move the burden of cybersecurity from the end user to the manufacturer, ensuring that the system and products are resilient and trustworthy from the start. Transfer responsibility to the manufacturer. Okay. What is the key message? Cybersecurity requires shift in priorities from focusing primarily on cost, speed, and convenience to ensuring security, trust, and resilience. Now, see the entirely different way of thinking. Ensuring, I said it's again choice. Okay, security, trust, and resilience. This shift is essential for building trustworthy and sustainable digital infrastructure. It's not working. Right? Is what I said. You need to, there's a choice, right? Cost, speed, and convenience, security, trust, and resilience. That's a choice. Okay. You need to decide this in terms of business risk. So building strong digital foundation foundation, you need this choice. It's not the full functional base. Okay. Why procurement matters for cybersecurity? I think I discussed this already. Facing cyber threats. Okay. Security by design is an essential foundational requirement. Protection of citizen data, privacy. Public trust as a stake. Public trust. Security and compliance demand. Okay. And then strategic role of procurement officers. Every IT purchasing decisions directly shape government cyber resilience and ability to safeguard digital infrastructure. Public procurement officers stand as the trust anchors in the procurement. There's a mistake. I'm sorry. There's a mistake. It will be procurement officer. There's some spelling mistake. Okay, you will go with the trust anchor. Now, what are the tools available for you to do this? This is we got RFI and RFP. Okay, RFP is the requirement that you built in based on you put the requirement to there. If information is available with you, okay, then you can develop the RFP as a condition. It can be financial, non-financial, technical. Okay, and then if you don't have information, you can go for a RFI. RFI. You can get the information. You can code for RFI and get the information, and you can develop it. It is not the best good practice that you ask vendor to provide the functionality, you to code. No. Don't ever do that. It should always go from you. Okay. These are the two tools that you can use to build this requirement into the procurement. Yeah. Having said that, these issues are all over the world. US, as I said, there are cybersecurity infrastructure security agency. CISA came out with the framework, shifting the balance of cybersecurity risks, secure by design guideline. I have shared this document with Dr. Hans as well. I am also using this document for my work of building digital trust. Okay, shifting the cybersecurity responsibility away from the end users. Let's see what this framework says about it. Secure by design, they issue a secure by design guideline. It's a voluntary framework for software manufacturers. It aims to strengthen the security of technology products. We are shifting security responsibility away from the end user. What is this? Basically, you try to get some condition in the RFP. RFP is a world-based practice. And it is voluntary. Voluntary. You need to create awareness among the vendors as well. Vendors as well. I have a framework of vendor evaluation for security. What is their level of readiness in security capability? ඒකත් කරන්න ඕන. දැන් අපේ requirement විතරක් නෙමෙයි. We have to do we have a vendor evaluation pre-enrollment of vendors in government? තියෙනවද? දැන් private company එක නම් මේ vendor evaluate කරලා register කරලා තියාගෙන ඉන්නේ. Do you have it here? Anybody can any එහෙම කරන්නේ නැහැ නේ. Oh, I think when the new GovTech comes, they will evaluate the vendors. There should be a pool of vendors, and your procurement can be push it there. Anyway, any vendor can code if they are capable. Before vendors are registered, we should evaluate for their secure by design or cybersecurity capability. Right? Otherwise, anybody will try to code, but we don't know who these people are. Vendor capability, we need to train vendors also. That's how it's happening in Singapore, Gauteng, Estonia. No. මේක මේ පාරවල් බොක්වතනවා වැඩක් නෙමෙයි මේ major risk. ආණ්ඩුවේ වියදම් කරන සල්ලි මේ internet system and technology. I believe we are not getting the ROI, right? We need to, fight for it and try to build this up, right? මේකට ඇඟට කරන්න වැඩක්.
Padri, if I feel like MOD is going to take a policy decision on to handle such a marketplace to screen the potential and capable vendors, and then the government utilities like screen them and
Very good, very good. I think I can add. We need to evaluate these vendors before they get registered. Products that are secure by designs are created, shaped, and maintained with security integrated into the earliest stage of the software development life cycle, making security a core design consideration rather than an afterthought. This framework enforces these days. Okay, this guideline is a counterpart of CISA design by This guideline is a counterpart of CISA design, secure by design for technology manufacturers. Now, through the guideline, it is expected to take the ownership of customer security outcome. When does it take the ownership? Customer security outcome. I mean, now we are expecting some outcome. When does to get the responsibility? We want to get the outcome. Embrace radical transparency and accountability. Build organization infrastructure and leadership to achieve these goals. Organizational leadership. We need to understand this. This guideline bridges the gap by offering resource organization can leverage to assess product security maturity, and where manufacturer follow secure by design principle. I mean, now we need to measure manufacturer maturity level of their security posture. Okay, this can happen. Organization can integrate product security consideration into three levels, 3 stages: before procurement, during the procurement, and following the procurement. I said security life cycle issue. Okay, before procurement by posing question to understand each candidate software manufacturer's approach to product security. You can evaluate this through the RFP. During procurement, by integrating product security requirement into contracts. RFP, the contract now. Then put that into contract. Following procurement, by continuous assessment software manufacturer product security and security outcome. Okay. Following that, CISA framework expect some pledges coming from vendor. What are these 7 pledges? Increase multi-factor authentication. These are secure by design. Now, vendor should give us these pledges. Okay, it's a voluntary framework. We need to educate the vendor for this. Increase multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication, not only OTP. OTP is always challenge. Something more than that. Eliminate default password. No default. It's going to be zero trust. I should say all the government system that digital service should go for a zero trust. Okay. You can ask this condition from all RFPs. If vendor say he can't, don't evaluate. I mean, you will have the right. Reduce entire classes of vulnerability. Proactively address systemic weaknesses. Reduce entire classes of vulnerability. That's the vendor responsibility. Okay. Improve patch adoption. How soon, how speed they help you to add the patch. At least that should be within 7 days or 14 days. You have to agree it in the agreement, your contract. Publish a vulnerability disclosure. Vulnerability should be disclosed by the vendor. He has associated on the research organization, kind of like say NVD. There's a vulnerability published body in US, right? And the increased transparency in vulnerability reporting. Transparency. There's a national vulnerability database in US. They publish all the vulnerabilities. Enhance customer intrusion detection. Increase customer ability to collect logs and evidence of compromise. Enhance customer intrusion detection. Basically, customers should be able to, vendor should help share the logs, intelligence with the customer to detect those threats. These are the 7 goals of Secure by Design pledge that the vendor should commit. These 7 goals can be embedded into cybersecurity bill or a DP Act. DP Act is already drafted, already passed by the Parliament, but Cybersecurity Act we can think of to build in this Secure by Design goals. Okay. We'll have a discussion on this, Udesh. We're going to take this into account as a condition of the Secure by Design requirement. We need a draft act. Integrating security in procurement lifecycle. Now, there are 5 phases where we can, what's your time? 11:30, right? 12 o'clock. Pre-tender, tender evaluation, pre-tender, tender evaluation, contracting, delivery and operation, end of life cycle. End of life. Yeah, so end of life. All these stages, you have to do something. Pre-tender, pre-tender procurement, define baseline minimum security standards. Establish RFP security requirement, SLA, evaluation criteria. I think, I don't know whether you do everything, maybe except security. I don't know. RFP tender stage includes security certification. We should ask vendor to demonstrate their security certifications. Okay. Specify compliance obligation, data protection laws and ISO standard. We need to ask for this their compliance certifications. Evaluation and vendor selection. Apply security scoring and risk rating. Assess vendor security maturity. Vendor security maturity. I mean, now you have a framework where we can assess the vendor, right, based on the 7 criteria. Contracting stage, insert binding security clauses. Vulnerability disclosure, as I discussed, patch management, incident reporting, and response obligation, and compliance audit. Right, compliance audit. We need to have a right to audit. Right to audit. There's something called SOC 2. SOC 2. Then the post-contract operations, enforce continuous monitoring and compliance check. Continuous monitoring after the contract signing. Right. Periodic audit and security reviews, ongoing incident reporting and risk assessment. Those are the how you integrate security into procurement lifecycle. I have some principle for procurement staff that you should be knowing. Create clear accountability. Okay. Ensure contract with the supplier explicitly detailed cybersecurity requirement. Then prioritize security culture. Treat cybersecurity as a business and delivery risks, not just the technical compliance. Okay. Embrace continuous risk management. We discussed continuously we have to assess the risks. Move beyond one-time assessment. Procurement should embed regular security review and risk mitigation strategies throughout the entire product life cycle. So, source secure technology products. I mean, now you need to source technology products that are secure. Conduct security due diligence and third-party products. Security due diligence. You don't just buy some product, ask third party to test that product for you if it is such a comprehensive technology. Demand secure defaults. Okay, not secure the bolt-on. Incorporate secure coding practice. I think I discussed some of the. Insist on transparency. Vendor process should be transparent to us. Design for resilience. Require vendor to ensure defense in depth. Okay, with multiple layers of security. Resilience. Failure to resistance. Resistant to failure. Procurement strategies and tactics. Review and update the procurement document. Conduct security reviews and threat modeling. To implement security by design, procurement staff should adapt their process with the following strategies. Review and update procurement documents. RFP, you have to have a refined RFP for this. Conduct security reviews and threat modeling. Integrate security reviews and threat modeling into due diligence process. Collaborate with security teams, establish working groups with cybersecurity experts, and ensure right security controls are included in procurement decisions. If you don't have some skill set, you can set the team, some team for security evaluations. I mean, a finance department can organize. If individual department is not taking interest, as the central authority, finance department can have a team evaluation for bid security in the bids. Use vendor pledge as guide. Vendor pledge, those 7 pledges for enterprise software are potential vendors. They have signed initiative like US cybersecurity, infrastructure security, secure by design pledge. Prioritize capability over accreditations. Invest in internal training. Procurement staff need to be trained because this is essential knowledge. This I said from all school of thoughts, you have to think of out of box now. New model for secure by design should be security focus. Built-in security is from the very beginning of the design and the procurement process. Security focus. And then burden of responsibility. Share responsibility with the manufacturer. Okay, share responsibility with the manufacturer. My pointer is not here. Right. Share responsibility with the manufacturer and supplier taking greater ownership of their products. Security outcome. They are responsible for security outcome. Your expectation. Okay. Your outcome is our expectation. Then the continuous risk management throughout the entire product life cycle. Security is a core built-in feature enabled by default and no additional cost. Right. Now, as I said, there were a couple of procurement best practice. I said Singapore GovTech and Estonia e-government model. They have built the secure by design early security integration, embedding security requirement in RFP, vendor evaluation and contracts. right? Security is testing, certification, and compliance check before deployment. Reduce procurement risk. Minimize vendor locking. Vendor locking is one of the major risks. I'll have a separate checklist for how to avoid vendor locking risk. Okay. Then build trust in public service and digital platforms. Adapting to Sri Lanka. This is a global best practice. Align procurement framework with the forthcoming cybersecurity bill. Cybersecurity bill has to enforce this. TICA vendor to comply with those standards, best practices. Okay, that can be done to the RFP. Establish the national secure procurement policy. Secure procurement policy. I said Udesh will think of this. Secure by design procurement policy. Train procurement officers as gatekeepers. Case studies fail in government procurement. There are a couple of case studies. I will not go through all this, but I'll tell you one or two. Say, for example, India Aadhaar, that is their digital ID, that failed. There was a weak API. Customer biometric data was, there was a data breach, massive data breach. So it was a major failure of public trust of digital ID. So should it happen here? That will be the end of digital transformation. Understand? Now we need to take this seriously. Okay, so that's what we are trying to. We are putting this effort to build this security posture. We have to think ahead and build the framework from the inception. The whole journey from current procurement risks, okay, huge amount of risk, and with the secure by design procurement process, you can transform that into a digitally trust economy, right? Trusted government services, citizen confidence, resilience, digital infrastructure aligned with the Sri Lankan digital economy. I mean, now you can be a gatekeeper. Right, practical secure by design framework. This area I think going to be very interesting to you. Anyone engaging in RFP evaluation? You will, right? Anybody other? Any other person? RFP evaluation? Nෑ again. Huh? කතා කරන්නේ කතා කරන්න ඕන. Huh? Only two. That is enough. දෙන්න කරින්න ඕනේ. Okay. Right, you know, I have 3 templates. Okay, I'll go through them once. I mean, together. Let me discuss these slides. Practical secure procurement framework. What is the objective of these benefits? Reduce procurement risk. Okay, vendor locking, insecure solutions, ensure compliance with the Cybersecurity Bill, Data Protection Act, Digital Economy Blueprints. These are our, I mean, now where we need to associate in our journey of secure by design, achieving secure by design goals. Build trust in government digital services, and make procurement officers the first line of defense. Okay. For that, we need to have a couple of think of a couple of things. Vendor security certification. These are some high-level things. Vendor security certification. Vendor should have been achieved certain compliance certifications so that we have we can confidence that vendor process, their internal process are quality enough, secure enough for us to trust the vendor. Vulnerability disclosure policies vendor should have. patch update timeline, maybe less than 14 days. Okay. However much we try to manage the risks of cybersecurity, there will be attack. That is the inherent nature. But what is the readiness? That is what is the most important thing. So there should be incident response policy of this vendor. Okay, independent security testing process before acceptance. They should have continual monitoring of risk reviews. Vendor should do. How do we design stakeholder by design? Basically, you need to get the condition in the RFP. And before you get the condition RFP, you need to develop some document that's called secure procurement checklist. Okay, this checklist is kind of a governance tool. Okay, if you are a well-read person in risk and governance, you know what are the risks of the technology, right? You are free to develop this. Understand? Now I have documented 23 concern, 23, 24 together with the when they're looking. Those requirements, they are risks. Okay, those requirements I have identified. Many of them are high risk. Okay, and basically, what you can do is you can say put the description. You can do the risk rating. You can have some template like this. What is my risk? What is my lower price? For high and medium, you can describe the further verification method. Now you have to develop how we are going to get this condition. How to verify them? I have a concern. I have a description. I have risk rating. I need to verify them by sources. Then what should be the contract cost? Understand? Which one? This is linked to the contract clause. Understand? There should be 23 contract clauses. These are model clauses. Understand? So basically, I have carefully developed this. All these 24 risks, it has been linked to the contract. If it is a risk, I should have a clause to plot the risk, address the risk, not the clause. The risk in the contract. So put the contract this condition. I'm not going to go read this out. This is highly structured document. Okay, I'll share that with you all, procurement people. And okay, all these conditions that I discussed throughout are inbuilt there, including CISA's framework and best practice cybersecurity risk control measures. Okay, you can see another last condition, that is secure by what you call vendor locking, right? See, exit strategy. You said number 22. Exit strategy. Yesterday I met some DG in the transport board. They have a problem of vendor demanding big money, even for simple modification. There's no way of terminate the contract. There's no termination clause. There's no exit clause. This happened to I think rest of companies also. Okay, so there's a lot of thought of this in this document. You need to carefully thought of it when you develop a new fresh guideline. I think this could be a very good guide.
Then for the IT people.
You know, IT product become outdated. Now say, uh, very simple example everyone knows, Windows 10 become end of life. It's no longer supported by Microsoft. What does it mean? So same thing. End of life, basically, you will come out with a new version, entirely new version. Now say, if my previous product is not developed by design or a POC by design, earlier version is not, they will not support it. Understand? They will come out entirely new version. So that's the end of product, the previous life cycle, previous product. Okay. Vendor will release product with new features and with enhanced security. So previous version will be go out of service. They announce it maybe in a couple of 1 or 2 years in advance. There's something called agile development. Agile development and CI/CD deployment. These technology basically will never become outdated. The reason is you keep changing. It is very flexible to enhance, adding additional functionality, right? So this time government ICT agency will go for CI/CD development, not yesterday waterfall development. That's not the method. Okay, there are a lot of, in fact, digital services should go for agile development. The reason is agility is give you flexibility. Use API, plug in. That's the way. Vendor looking, different issue. I'll come to that. I have separate checklist for vendor looking. Right? Vendor looking is one of the biggest risks. Yeah. No, you will. No, it's not so. In the modern, I am a trainer of IT services. Okay, IT service modern standard is go for agile IT services. Agile IT services, agility, ITIL4. I would strongly recommend government, those who are in the decision-making process of IT, they should follow this ITIL4 digital transformation certification. Then they will come to the latest in the industry. ITIL4 is the digital transformation of technology. What is the best practice? And we are far behind the government sector. Many public sector, they have, even SLT, they have gone for this because they are providing us these cloud services. Their team is trained on agile development at ITIL4. Yeah, I think Udesh, Udesh can think of this.
So
when they're looking,
sorry?
Did I answer your question?
I have one other question.
Did I answer your previous question? No, not think. I should be very precise.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So, can you repeat the question, please?
No, I was asking that with the CI/CD and agile development. So how do you put it on the procurement document?
You can ask vendors their development standards. Understand? If you are pursuing digital products, there should be a very high level of flexibility. If they adopt the STLC development, put them away. Don't consider. They can't cater our requirements. Either they should agile and what you call CI/CD deployments, agile development. There's no other way.
So the timeline and the budget will be happening.
I said functionality versus security. It's a choice. Understand? Functional level of security is a choice.
So
It's a business decision.
so the question is actually in the government procurement framework.
But you have to change.
Yeah.
You have to change. I mean, you have to in order to leverage the value of the digital technology, the government traditional procurement process need to be changed to some extent. Either we like it or not, it should happen. I think Dr. Hans has realized this very well. Understand? I don't know, that's what my idea. You have a question, right? Okay.
So one more question.
Yeah.
So when we are going to the FRS and SRS, so do we need to completely scope it out when we are going to the documentation, or we can do while we are in the development process?
No, but I don't have a thorough understanding of the government procurement system, but I have some understanding. Government procurement system is therefore governance of the process control. Understand? But it doesn't discuss anything about the functionality of security requirement. It is up to the evaluation people. RFP development people should take it. I don't think it will restrict there. Only thing is the procurement process is a legacy system. It will take time. That doesn't mean you cannot ask for the security requirement. Understand? All these by security requirement can be inbuilt with RFP. Your government procurement process won't has an impact on there. You got me? It is how you are, level of your creativity and your understanding and risk. The risk management. Did I answer your question? Understand? You have to think outside the box. If your bosses are not aware of, tell them and make them aware. Understand? Right. This is basically checklist. This is the contract process. Understand? This is the vendor locking. Vendor locking is a different ball game together, right? Vendor locking poses significant risks of the government digital transformation project, including high switching costs, reduced flexibility, and security vulnerabilities. Source secure procurement practices can mitigate the risk by embedding openness, interoperability, security into every stage of procurement process. Okay, these courses detect. Your vendor locking process can protect data sovereignty, interoperability, security independence, and smooth exit process. Okay, these are the area where these people try to catch us. Understand? Right? So these two for that. This also I'm not going to read all. There's 8 conditions. Thank you. Right. These are secure procurement to avoid vendor locking. There are 8 conditions. Okay. You can put this as a contract. Your RFP and put that to contract. Understand? And for our SLUDI projects, that is open source. Open source, one of the major risks was the vendor locking technology. Why government has gone for the SLUDI Indian product is the machine. It's open source. That's no vendor locking. This source code is open. You can write API and get connected, and anybody can, if you are knowledgeable, you can write the application there. It's a collective knowledge. Source code is open for debates, and cracking and everything is possible. It is, security is not by obscurity. Right? Security, obscurity is you try to hide the code and try to protect. That is not the security. It should be put into debate and hacking, and then prove that you are secure now. Open source, like that. So there is no vendor locking in SLVDI project. Same thing here. Okay.
I have.
Yeah.
So, are there any accountability problems in accountability aspects when we are going for open source kind of products? I mean,
There's a debate on that also. There are open source technology supported by specific vendors. Understand? Then that support that's no. Open source is not, nobody's baby.
but we have to go specifically for that kind of open source product. I mean,
Better.
Yeah.
That's what government is doing. I think that's right. That's no other way. Understand? So that's the way forward. I mean, now there are pluses and minuses. We are trying to optimize the value and minimize the risk. Right? Where there's a value, minimize the risk and go for that. Okay. And then this is the model process for loading vendor locking. We'll go to some other. Yeah, this is basically implement national certification for IT vendor. I said vendor evaluation, and now we evaluate the vendor for about the contracts. Now we evaluate the vendor initially whether they should be allowed to quote and let them register. So this is a process. This is adapted based on the CISA guideline, CISA 7 goals. Okay. Scoring, we try to give some scoring and certify vendors. There are 5 categories of control evaluation: perspective governance, identity and access management, vulnerability patching, incident response, security development, certification, continuous improvement. I mean, now these are the critical security processes vendor should show us they are capable enough. Otherwise, anyone and come and they try to do something, demonstrate some product and try to no, it's not the way. We need to evaluate their internal processes on this perspective. Okay, CISA Secure by Design, ISO 27001, Sri Lanka Data Protection Act, global security standards into these vendor certification framework. I retested this model because I'm very basically I have a fund of doing this security stuff. In the vendor evaluation, we have 4 levels of certification here: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Highest is platinum. Minimum is baseline safe trust. Okay, there are several number of trust criteria. I'm not going to say that. I'll discuss them. They are, go for highest level of maturity from baseline to the trusted by design. Trusted by design is the highest. Right now, there's a scoring system. 40 to 59 is bronze, silver 60 to 74, gold 75 to 89, platinum 90 plus. How can you do this? Now, we need to assess the vendor maturity. Okay. For vendor maturity assessment, I have a worksheet. These are the 5 criteria, right? Assessment criteria, governance, identity, access management, vulnerability management, likewise, right? Internet management and security development and the certification and continuous monitoring. right? Then we give the description as an item. There are basically 5 questions to it. You can develop many questions. Okay, these are the template, sample template only. If you can go for a level of granularity as you wish. Okay, but when evaluation, we should not go for that. Better to have we don't have access to the internal information, right? So then next column basically score. Score can be 0 to 5. 0 to 5. Scale. Scale basically, as I said, scaling is, as I said, yeah, scaling 20, 15, 20, 20, 15, 20, 10. Scaling is the total number of score that we give this particular category of evaluation. Okay, scale. And then weighted score. So multiple based on the category score. Get the value there. And your variability is score here. Your variability of this score, right? And then you evaluate, then you get the maturity level here. This is the maturity level. Now we are trying to evaluate this guy, whether this guy belongs to bronze, silver, gold, or platinum. So then this will give you automatic evaluation. Now my worksheet, I have rated them on 60.15. Okay, they are silver. If we say for example, if I reduce these values, say, the mouse is not working. I'm going to delete some of them to reduce them basically. Let's see what happened now. See, unqualified. They are not even bronze now. Okay, so this well tested. So just evaluate, you will see whether this guy is belong to what category, either bronze, silver, right? Scoring system. Okay, this is what practically you can apply. I think right now I said having said that all what we discussed, I said it is the journey, digital trust. We try to earn trust of public trust, confidence by doing all that, and the procurement IT, Secoby IT systems. It's again the journey. We need to basically have a roadmap. Okay, there are 5 phases here. Procurement officers. Okay, define secure procurement framework. Either it can be done by self-cert or CSRA. Okay, and then phase 2, standardized RFP template with security controls. RFP templates. I mean, now I don't know whether RFP, there's no template right now, huh? Do we have a RFP template now? But now, so anyone can let them to do their template, but you can say these are the Secoby design requirements. Understand? Security is same irrespective of the technology. If it's a digital technology, same. Fine tuning can basically whether they are applicable or not. You can question the evaluation. Okay. Then I think Treasury can enforce this. Because Treasury, I believe they are the ultimate risk ownerships. Hit financial. And build vendor capacity and training. Vendor should do, as I said, these 7 goals. We need to train them and make them aware. Then implement national certification for IT vendors to this evaluation process, vendor evaluation. Then that is not end there. It is a continuous improvement process. Okay. I said security, secure by design, and digital trust is the journey. Because people change, process change, technology ever change, right? Then digital trust also one of the biggest risks. So it is a journey. Things keep changing. So I have a couple of key takeaway. Okay, that is right. For secure by design, secure by procurement officers, digital trust start with the secure procurement. Procurement officers are the gatekeepers of resilience and compliance. You are the gatekeepers. Secure by design delivers lasting value. Shift from lower cost to the best values with security. Vendor must be held accountable. Not purely by, of course, we need to have, we have obligation to, now accountable for risks. So vendor should share the risk with us. Okay, that's their baby. Vendor must be held accountable. Policy, governance, and cultures architect. Security culture. Digital trust is not the end goal. It is fundamental requirement of whatever we do. It has the basically technological part of and the societal part. Global lessons show that the failures are costly. Let's develop resilient systems. That is the key takeaway that I can share with you. Thank you. Before that, any other question? I think a long lecture, but I believe you have learned something. Okay. With this, I can share this whatever you require.
People have requested the Excel sheets, these
Yeah.
documents and
Yeah, sure. And I thought of taking you to the big picture rather than straight away going to the technical tool. That's what the role of the managers. When you understand the big picture, then the bottom line things become very easy. This can I? That's my time is up.
Are there
Any other questions?
Because anyhow, we are going to have a series related to cybersecurity because it's like a time certain information which is needed. And we also like a security operation intel that will be opened by research that recently we are going to have like a term that we are planning to go on. And before we should continue these sessions. So whatever questions we have, we can.
Yeah. Anything about this NSOC center? NSOC, what is? If you have any questions, you can answer. No questions? All right. I honestly believe that you understood some amount of things out of this discussion. If not 100%, at least 20%. That's what. All right. So then we'll conclude the discussion and let's take it forward. Okay. There will be a digital trust forum that we are going to start. You can become part of it and we can keep this dialogue going on there. All right then. Thank you very much for listening to me. Take care. Thanks.